other stuff. Like, they don't even understand it right now. And it's hitting me, and I ain't number 27, you see what I'm saying? It's hitting me hard.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons I always talk so much about the responsibility of the adults. Not to fix anything, but just to be much more solution-oriented and planning.
And the benefit off them are gonna, they're gonna benefit off the experience these kids gonna have to go through. And y'all ready to fund it for y'all to make money off of it in order to just, instead of correcting it so they won't have to go through the stuff. Y'all ready to pat y'all pockets and, pat them on the back.
Yeah, that was absolutely. And what's happening in Jackson is that trend is unfortunately, it shouldn't be a trend. It should be a reality that all honest, moral adults should live by. Meaning, if we know we're getting money off of someone else's pain or detriment, we should stop and not be involved with that. But right now, I'm hearing a lot more people that seem in our city to be waking up. Yesterday's meeting, you all know we ended yesterday's show, encouraging as many people as possible to make it to City Hall. And I'm sure a lot of people already intended on going, but it was standing room only. So, it just made me happy to be, a Jacksonian and to watch folks show up. Again, I know some folks were already going. It doesn't matter how they got there. It just felt good, as KP and I, my producer, were talking about, to see it be standing room only. We got there, and as you all know, if you looked at the Facebook, I did a quick rundown just to kind of let you all know where we stand on this and what we think is happening, and to read the facts, because I always want to give you all facts first. And then kind of conclude where this could be going and how it could be a detriment or a help to us here in Jackson. But by the time we got in, right, KP was standing only room.
Yeah.
So
it became packed as we stayed.
It became more and more packed. Absolutely, more and more folks showed up. And when they got to the part where they were discussing the vote for the airport for this concession is what it is, then. The room crowded more, and cameras just came out, cell phones came out, and there's no way the atmosphere in that room did not have an impact. Now, I'm not saying it directed what people said. They hadn't written what they were going to say. They came in, and two people stood up. But I'm sure it enhanced the atmosphere to stand up for the people. It encouraged those council people that were already going to stand up. It encouraged them that they had the support of the people when they saw so many citizens in the gallery pull out their cell phones and start recording as soon as it got to the portion of the airport. And you should go look at their site. I'm not going to go into it deep. Go look at the government website because, if you're not reading it, you're already losing. So just look at the city council website. It's on our Facebook page. And you'll see the agenda from yesterday. And you can look at the meeting, and you can actually watch the whole meeting again. So that was promising. Now, of course, it's often said that they hide the details from us in things, that we don't know or that we're ignorant of. So, a former boss of mine used to say when I would tell them something I did, one day a trend does not make. I was sure that was grammatically incorrect, but I got the point of what she was saying. She was saying doing something for one day doesn't mean that you're consistent. So I think that folks are going to have to be consistent in Jackson. We can't show up to one meeting because these meetings escalate the importance, as KP pointed out, of the impact on our children and the future generation. There's a meeting tonight we're going to tell you about a little later about water. So this is a little bigger now. You see how it just keeps escalating? Tomorrow, excuse me. Thank you, KP. That's why I'm glad I'm not alone. I'll be shooting out all type of wrong info. But this meeting is tomorrow, and KP will give you more details on that later in the show. But just know while you're waiting for those details, it's a meeting being called for folks to go in front of the entities that control your water and discuss the problems or successes that you're having with your water. So now you can't skip this meeting because you want to hit Piccadilly's. That's a self-jab. I love Piccadilly's. You can't skip this meeting because you want to go stop and get something to eat. And then in 3 months, when something happens where there's another availability fee on your bill that you can't pay, you're complaining about them not doing you right. No, you're not doing yourself right. Because things change when you speak up. We found that out. Things change when you speak up. It's just showing up. You must say what?
The reactions that we had, they was looking us in the eyes when we was in there, like they felt the pressure that we were looking at them like, y'all know what they're trying to do. It was like a synergy type of thing. And I feel like the more people that would have showed up on the same type of attitude we was on, that effect can apply to a lot of situations,
Yeah.
Holding them accountable and making them realize that we ain't stupid and we know that y'all patting y'all pockets.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that's what we hear a lot too from the youth. I mean, because the youth going all the way into 30, tell them my age. But yeah, I think I don't think you're the only one that has that outlook. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
If you show up, and you show out, and there were folks there that were just frustrated. There was some folks there talking about other things. I know one woman was you'll see it on the meeting, was bringing a problem she had with the police department and her child. So what it showed me was that people are just frustrated because they're coming with everything. And I'm so sorry that Jacksonians have to go through that. KP often rightly says, we told you so, not to be a rubbing, but his frustration, which I may not share this further along in age, is the amount of work put into figuring out what we figured out to tell voters, hey, heads up, we see something coming down the pike that can hurt everybody. And so this young man, along with myself, it's status quo for me, right? Doing research of this nature, when you run departments and run companies, that's fine. But this young man just put in sweat, blood, and tears. In Mississippi, the information is not readily available. If you want to find out if someone from parks companies who builds what we know as slums, such as State Street, we got some of their buildings right here where the elderly people are complaining about it. In order to find out that one of them gave a donation to our current Mayor John Horn, do you know how deep you have to dig? You have to go to the Secretary of State. You have to understand what you're looking for. In order for us to understand who actually owned these apartments. Because these apartments are created under LLCs. We had to check, you got to pay for sites, then you have to find out on the initial filing who actually filed that. The same way we were able to find out where all of these Don Gabriel gas stations were coming from, and a lot of folks didn't know. We simply went to the sites and looked it up under LLC. Then we saw that was connected to Gabriel Prado's brother. Gabriel Prado is a member of Mayor John Horn's transition team. See, what you don't want is in 5 years, folks looking at you like you're crazy, like you telling me you didn't see any signs? Not a cough, not a sniffle. You didn't see anything that made you say, let's at least watch. And that's the part, I'm not going to hang on that because we hung on that at the time it mattered. It mattered when the election was going and when we said clearly, don't pick our guy, pick a guy that will keep the autonomy of our city together. And we've stood on those words since then. Both of us we don't win anything by being right, but we stand to lose a lot more if we all don't wake up to what's happening. Because if you go back and you look at our podcast and our radio shows during the election, we said, and I said, standing on 10 toes, my concern with Mayor Horn taking it over as mayor is the autonomy of Jackson. And that concern had nothing to do with the character of Mayor Horn because I don't know him personally. Here at Make It Make Sense, we base everything simply off of facts. That's our track road. So I look at everything you're involved with and I say, hey, KP, if I give you 5 different jobs to do, and each time I put you at the head of that job, something horrible happens, I'm going to pick somebody else next time. So Mr. Horn was over the 1% sales tax commission. Things went left there where we lost, 70% of that. And so we bought these things up. Mayor Horn is well versed in HUD. He sat on a HUD committee. He sits on the peer review board. Sometimes you got to keep saying stuff to folks to get it through your head. And then sometimes folks wake up, well, hold on. You're on the peer review, so he was supposed to be watching it. Yes, part of the group that was watching this. This is what we said during the elections. So I appreciate his frustration, and every time you bring it up, I'm going to repeat and back you up because you did do the research. We did find out these things, and we did bring it to the people. And so this is in no way complaining or crying because folks are crying to us now, and we're trying our best to help. But it hurts us because we saw it coming like a bull in a china shop. Northside Sun begging us to vote for John Horn, begging their own folks to get involved in the vote. Attacks coming from everywhere at one time against the previous mayor. So much effort. What did you want him out for? And now you're seeing why they want him out. Win, lose, or draw, whether you liked him or not, you're fully understanding why they wanted him out. The previous third-party manager seemed to have a problem if he even wanted to add a line to the bill with the mayor. They'd have to show up in court and the mayor was standing up there saying, stop that. Much less cut off, kick 100 people out of an apartment complex. They were battling over putting a fee on your bill. That's what your previous mayor was fighting over. Your bill increasing. And that, again, I'm not trying to say everything anyone does is perfect, but when you replace somebody protecting your best interest to a degree with somebody who has absolutely no care for the majority of the city in their actions, you put yourself in a bad position. Is that a good way to summarize it, KP?
Perfect way to summarize it. And so, all this stuff weighing in on us, you got the president. Yeah,
keep going. I'm sorry. I saw a call coming in. We missed.
This is good. You know, you got your not our president. I don't condone with our. The president is he's proposing a ballroom at the White House, but you got all these people out here that's suffering. They finna cut food stamps November 1st. You got farmers. They about to lose some of their money.
Yeah.
All this stuff. You know, my producer said did you say it was something about soybeans? Mississippi produces a lot of soybeans. They about to lose a lot of their revenue because of the government shutdown. Absolutely. So a lot of this stuff is about to start weighing in on us.
Yes, it's about to cash out. Absolutely correct. And it's a. I mean, when we talk about the linking that right in with the school choice and the voucher program. Right now, it's a word. You really have parents and to our listeners, you know, I'm starting something. I don't even have it honed in yet, you all. It's called The Rest of Us. And it's necessary. Maybe we'll get that looking better, but it's a group, and I wish it could be a political party if we could. Just call it The Rest of Us. Because there's too much that happens on a small level in a city like Jackson, on a large level in the United States, where certain people benefit and the rest of us don't. And it's just too consistent. Certain people's neighborhood gets paid and the rest of ours don't. Certain people's children have access to nice schools and the rest of us don't. And it's not even a color thing. It's black folk having this access, it's white folk having this access, it's everyone having this access, but there's a line between where the rest of us starts at. And then from there, it depends on how well you can handle what was left over. But the rest of us are not doing well with these changes that are coming. And some of the rest of us, and this is me imploring you, your children are going to be the ones that feel that brunt. Listen, we'll be over there, we'll be in apartment projects, and we'll be over in North Jackson. Your kids are going to public schools from all over. South Jackson, from nice neighborhoods, beautiful houses. Your kids are busing to these schools from all over. Folks can't afford private school. I know. I have 6 children. I've done it, tried it, half and halved it. It's murder on your pockets. So these are things that are going to affect your child. I'm a baby of a teenager of the 90s, and I remember when metal detectors came and they weren't there before. I remember when school was fun and then pistols started coming to school. I remember the changeover. My mother was a teacher, my father was an activist. So I remember coming from a home being taught respect and all of a sudden saying, oh my goodness, why am I being searched for metal detectors? Things changed. So the rest of us have got to wake up. And we've got to understand that these words that they keep using, every time you hear voucher, ding, ding, you should think that's another dollar coming out of your child's school. Your child's school, and this is Mississippi, not Jackson. Experts say that as much or as little as 100 million could snap out of the Mississippi public school system come January. When all of these parents and you know what they're saying, that the majority of the people using the vouchers are people whose children are already in private school. Education budgets are some of the biggest budgets that exist. And one of the easiest ways to get free money is to not give any to the black communities. And I'm not making this up. If you're older, confirm it for them. Confirm it for the folks. Go back to 59 to 60, when the federal government had to step in and say you can't use vouchers in charter schools because y'all are stealing all the money. The federal government had to step in Mississippi back then. You know how racist it was back then? So you know what it took for the federal government to step in the 60s and be like, hey, y'all being racist. The federal government was racist in the 60s. That's why they call Mississippi the place you sent to punish slaves. And it's still happening. So I don't want to go deeper, but I think you're 100% correct. I think all around we're seeing that. And I think the only thing that we can do now, we've got to keep talking about the information, keep showing up at these meetings. But so I'll say it shortly, if you look at Reconstruction and you look at what's happening now, you're going to see some glaring similarities. You're going to see that after the Freedmen Acts fizzled out, you're going to see black farmers built up, and then you're going to see them plummet at a certain point, right? Maybe 40s, I'm thinking 1940s, just plummeting. And correct me if I'm wrong on it. And I'm talking about from the 50,000 farmers, losing. Go look at the fact that you had the GOP, it wasn't the GOP, and the Democrats and the Republicans. Look at the whole political atmosphere. And you're going to see some strong similarities to right now. The point I'm making is the playbook hasn't changed. But we've made a lot of gains. So something's wrong, Waldo. And you can get as bothered as you want. I'm going to beat this horse until we're able to ride out of the situation we're in. Because I'm 1,000% sure that we stayed in the same situation we're in because our gatekeepers failed to deliver. You got Dr. King giving a final speech with fear in his voice almost, saying, I know that I won't make it to see this future. Then you got jokers that'll take money, that'll sit there and sit with the people that are trying to take away our voting rights, smiling and shaking hands. Medgar Evers got shot down for continuing to say what he wanted. I'm saying this for a reason, because these so-called leaders that replaced them are horrible off of their actions. That's where the phrase our ancestors would roll over in their grave. Jackson, Mississippi, that's where this phrase should be used right now. Our ancestors would roll over in their grave, and not because of the population at all. It's definitely not because of the people, but more because of the leadership. We have leadership right now that's walking us into a Red Sea that's not splitting.
Nope.
We're going to talk more about that when we get into the meeting.
Yeah, one of these,
What else we have to look at there, Jake, before I make the news the show?
This is a couple days ago, but we can get to talk about it. Feds resign. What is it? Resign? I don't care.
Rescind.
Yeah, rescind. At this point, I don't care. Penalty requiring MSDAs to repay $101 million in misspent TANF funds. TANF, yeah. The Mississippi Department of Human Services is getting reprieve on half of their repay nearly $101 million funds, misspent funds as part of the state's largest welfare scandal. That's how I need to read.
Yeah. I mean, I got calls about that. Folks just asked me what I thought about it. In case that didn't settle in to folks, essentially, the Mississippi basically said, yeah, we're not going to recoup that $100 million, and we're not going to worry about where it went either.
Exactly. So Brett Favre, what's the cat name?
Karen already got something happened, but Nancy knew. Excuse me, thank you. That's what the ball was. But yeah, no, that's a strong one. I think, and KP had been wanting to talk about that for a few shows since last week, but we didn't get a chance to get around to it. But some things are swept under, some people's crimes are swept under the rugs, and this is why, and I like to link everything, this is why I get mad at you folks in our community. That the first thing you can do is blame someone that looks like you, is going through the same struggles as you, and made a bad decision, like stealing a pack of cigarettes. You think I'm going to tell my son, you go get your pack of cigarettes that way? Absolutely not. But we are so quick to call out the bottom of that pole and so scared to call out the top. Mm-hmm. So scared to call out the top. We don't want to hear about $100 million being spent and being brushed under the rug. Let's talk about this guy that stole a pack of cigarettes. And you know what's crazy? I'm going to go there. I'm a former cigarette smoker. I quit. Thank God I quit a while ago. But let me say this to you. I'll tell you that in a stressful situation, cigarettes are not as crazy as something to steal as you think. I love being able to one to say it because I can eloquently defend my position, right? Someone else may try to say that you want to attack them. I'll say it. That is, you want me to tell you what's the craziest thief? Stealing a car. That's a little crazy than stealing a pack of cigarettes. Stealing some soda. That's crazier than stealing a pack of cigarettes. You know what could be? Stealing some aspirin could be crazy. A nicotine fix when it comes into you, when you're dealing with stress and already at the bottom of a barrel, I'm not excusing anything. What I'm saying is, you all act like things aren't understandable in any way, shape, or form. But then the federal government says, oh, you can hold on to that $100 million and y'all stay quiet. Make it make sense. I haven't been saying that enough lately. And other people have been saying it on this right. Let me tell you something. Why is so many right-wing people saying make it make sense? But yeah, you got to make it make sense. So KP, that's it. I mean, that's an open and shut one. I don't think there's much to say about that. If you feel like you got something you want to add to any of the stories we're talking about, 601-948-5950. We got a lot to unpack today, but we always want to hear you in there as well. But yeah, these stories as they unfold, guys, you know, they're going to link together. Things are going to start linking together. And I think that our show is one where, you know, you don't have to always tell us we are right, but we hope what you'll tell us is that we're consistent. And welcome to Make It Make Sense, caller. Can you hear us?
That's crazy to steal a cigarette, and then you took 2 lives stealing a cigarette.
So you said, let me just repeat, you said you took 2 lives stealing a cigarette?
No, the man that stole the cigarettes and the police got behind him, they should have called that off. But
yes,
it took 2 lives, the mom and the daughter.
Yeah.
So they chased him. Do y'all got a law?
Well, that stops them. I don't believe. I know what you're referencing. I mean, when you have to stop engagement, I'm almost positive there's not one. And anyone can call and correct me. But what we do have,
Jackson has an ordinance where you can't chase.
Jackson does have an ordinance, yes, but the police department that was coming in didn't adhere to it, or they don't have an ordinance. But what I tell you, we do have, my sister, is Jackson and the surrounding areas do have access to over 600 cameras. So all they had to do was call and say that.
I just want to know.
Okay, well, no. We appreciate your call and we appreciate you listening, okay? Keep listening to us.
Welcome to Make It Make Sense, caller. You on there?
Welcome to It Make Sense. Caller, you're on the air.
Welcome to Make Sense. Caller, you on there?
Yeah, this is William Cole from Bahia, Mississippi. I want to pay church. I want to pay my baby bill. Shout out to people.
You trying to pay your bill?
No, I said, pay church. I don't mind paying my baby bill.
Oh, no, keep that information low, sir. You put that over the airwaves. I'm going to take you off. You've reached a live radio show here, okay? No, that don't mean don't pay that baby's bill, but I'm going to take you off here, okay?
It's a song.
Yeah.
He's requesting the song. Sir Charles Jones. You ain't been here
Well,
long
he
enough.
requested, sir. All right, I didn't know. No, you just got a better understanding. I just heard the bill and I felt bad for him. I'm going to help him. Y'all know me. I was about to take his number and call him and connect him to pay his bill. I'm a public servant, y'all. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know what was going on.
KKP didn't help me. Go on the ground, brother. Well, okay. So you're looking at one of our favorite websites. I say that in quotes, but what you got there, KKP?
They already got a lot to say. Good shoot or bad shoot, we report, you decide. Ooh, y'all something else, man. Should the Attorney General prosecute 2 Capitol police officers? Although the Attorney General was prosecuting two Capitol police officers for allegedly shooting Jalen Lewis to death in 2022 during a traffic stop. An expert witness claims Lewis rammed one of the police vehicles and tried to run the 2 officers over as he tried to escape.
Yeah, no, I saw that as well.
If that's true, why did that just come out?
It's not true. I mean, you get what I'm saying. We've got to look at it. I mean, I've talked to his mother. I've talked to folks that looked at it, and that's horrible. But to my producer's point, if that is true, then why is that something that just came out?
Yeah, I'm just not saying something.
Yeah, and what it is generally it is the writing on the wall when they're trying to set and again.
Set a narrative.
Yeah, setting the narrative. We've talked about that a lot on the show, and that's why. And I'm going to link it, and I'm going to be the one that links it every time. That's why you folks that are out there talking about the kids are the problem, and you can't come up with any other solution or point your finger at anybody else that's doing anything. That's why I use the word coward, and I take that very heavily. And I know that I can get pushback if someone's saying, "Well, you call me a coward. You fit that bill 100%." And you know me, I'll repeat it to you. It's a very cowardly act, and I've done cowardly acts in my life. We all make mistakes, and we all fall and have to stumble and get back up. I never judge, but I was glad when someone looked me in my face and said, "You're not being the father you're supposed to be. You're not being the husband you're supposed to be. You're not being the man you're supposed to be." I appreciated that, and I had to fight to be better. So I'm not in any way judging you, but you adults out there with no heart, no courage, no spine, and you'll be on Facebook. I'll see you in the comments all over the United States. You all disgust me. And I'm sorry, and I'm saying that with love. You all disgust me. I see you all on Facebook. These YNs are wild. These young, you don't say one thing. You don't take 5 minutes to Google like this young man did and find out who's really causing havoc in your community. Who's creating the slums? Who's taking away all the extra federal money that should be coming to help you? Who's killing your school system? Who's pushing to have everything closed? Who gains from your city being run all the way down and then bought for the cheap and then half of you pushed out? You've got college graduates here. You've got college students at HBCUs. And you don't hear a peep. I'm always going to escalate over that. I can't believe it. I come from a family of nothing but HBCUs in terms of everybody. I wasn't as lucky myself. I stumbled a lot, right? So I'm still fighting to complete this degree now, well, my higher degree. But my family, all a bunch of, my grandfather was best friends with Benjamin Mays from Ohio. I mean, this is not HBCU behavior. And listen, we've got some elderly black folk that marched with Dr. King that done called in and told us that Dr. King stayed at my house in Georgetown, 601-948-5950. You tell me this HBCU behavior. I wish you would. You got dead students. You got bullet holes sitting in front of a school right now down the street for students that gave their life to stand up and make a point that you're not just going to take our rights without us saying something. What is going on at these schools? I'm asking everywhere adults are supposed to be in charge, what is going on? If y'all going to let this crash, we're going to crash with receipts.
Eyes open.
Eyes wide open. So when this is done, your children will be like, "Hey, Mom, why were you such a weakling?" You're going to be shocked. "Oh, hey, Dad, what do you mean?" Well, it says right here that you had a chance to do something. All you did was blame young kids and said that the violence was the problem. Well, yeah, they were violent. But, Mom, look over here. It shows where the state of Mississippi, it shows where this entity, that entity, this entity, that entity, this entity, that entity, they all attacked Jackson. "Oh, well, son, yeah, I don't know about that. I wasn't." Clowns. While the circus is playing, at least I'm calling you a clown. And I've been called a clown before, and I played the clown before.
You know,
What's that song? Everyone plays the fool. I saw these
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, everyone plays the fool sometimes. We all do it. And someone was in my face. What you say, KB?
I was gonna say, you know, they didn't say when they having that conversation with their kids.
What's that?
They didn't say it's your fault. That's why they was blaming. It's the kid's fault.
What is
It's your fault.
Yeah. If someone, one day somebody's going to ask you, if you're listening, you probably just cut it off. If you're listening, somebody going to ask you, why there was nothing else you can do? Like our brother that called in and said he was sitting on Ross Barnett's gold toilet. And I said, no, I know in that time you definitely couldn't sit up and punch him in his face, but did you write a seat? Did you do some smoke signals at night? Ross Barnett is planning on doing this to the Negroes, you know, or did you just sit on his gold toilet and enjoy your air conditioning? You got to ask these questions, and that brother never got a chance to respond. I'm talking about the type of questions you got to pose to folks. It's not enough for you to have been in the presence of a devil, and you